What's up, guys? Jordan McAbee here, fantasyracingonline.com, and we're off to Las Vegas with the South Point 400. Playoff race number 4. Okay, Las Vegas Motor Speedway. It's a 1.5-mile track, low wear 1.5-mile track. So we've also raced at Homestead this year. We've raced at Atlanta twice this year. Those are both high wear racetracks, if you remember back to those. So don't compare extremely well here to Las Vegas. You can kind of throw it in with 1.5 miles in general, but definitely, we're looking at the Kansas race earlier this year. We're looking at Charlotte earlier this year. This is also a 550 horsepower package, or 550 horsepower package race. So throwing those races in there as well. We got Kyle Larson on the pole for Sunday night's race at Las Vegas. Sunday night race this week. Ryan Blaney starting second, William Byron third, Truex, Harvick rounding out the top 5. Got Hamlin 6th, Bowman 7th, Keselowski 8th, Logano 9th, Kyle Busch 10th. Chase Elliott starts 11th. Christopher Bell 12th, Tyler Reddick 13th. And yeah, you can go through the whole rest of the starting lineup there. As far as my algorithm goes, it's got Kyle Larson winning, which should be no surprise. Larson won the last time we ran here at Las Vegas, and also has been very good in the 550 horsepower package overall. So not too surprising to see Larson up there, ranked number 1. Hamlin 2nd, Blaney 3rd, Kyle Busch 4th, Chase Elliott 5th, according to the algorithm. We got Truex, Harvick, Keselowski, Logano, Byron. I think Byron and Bowman are ranked a little bit lower than they should be, but, Bowman has had some disappointing finishes. Byron, I think he could actually win this race, so I think he's severely undervalued by the algorithm this week, but just that's what it spit out is those two down there, and, I wrote about Byron in my article on why I think that he's a lot better value than 10th this week. But let's go ahead and look at statistics from those similar tracks that I was talking about before. So first off, we're looking at 550 horsepower package this year. This includes 9 races that are in this data set, so nice spread of races and relevant race data. We got Homestead, we got Vegas, the first race, Atlanta, both races, Kansas, Charlotte, the 2 Pocono races, and Michigan. Now, obviously, the 2 Pocono races don't translate well to Las Vegas. The Michigan race doesn't translate well to Las Vegas, but they were all part of this 550 package, and you have to kind of just take it. The more data you can have with this package, the better. They're all, ovals in a way. Some of them are differently shaped, but I like to look at I like to have as much data as possible, and looking at the full 550 horsepower data package data this week, I think is a good thing. So best average finish in the 550 package is actually Kyle Busch at 3.8, Kyle Larson right up there at 6.6, William Byron 7.4, Denny Hamlin 8.2, Kevin Harvick 9.3, Ryan Blaney 9.6, and Alex Bowman at 10.0. When we sort by average running position, it's going to be Kyle Larson 4.5, then Byron at 7.2, Kyle Busch at 7.4, Denny Hamlin at 8.2. Sorry, I keep getting DMs on Twitter and trying to respond to those at the same time as this. Alex Bowman at 10.0 and Truex at 10.3. Looking at Dominator points, fastest laps, Kyle Larson, number 1, 363. William Byron, second at 190. Kyle Busch at 166. Kurt Busch at 125. A lot of those came in the Atlanta race. And then Keselowski with 117. Laps led, it's not even close. Kyle Larson, 921 laps led in the 550 horsepower package. Second best, William Byron with 201. Over a 700 lap gap between the 2 biggest dominators in this package. Kyle Larson is absolutely insane. And a big chunk of that did come at Charlotte, the last 1.5-mile track that we ran at, the last low wear 1.5-mile track that we ran at. He led 363 laps in that race, I believe. 327. I don't know where I was getting 363 at. 327 of the 400 laps at Charlotte, but If you remember back to that race, Kyle Larson started on the pole. He won all the stages. It was like I said, it was the last mile and a half track that we raced at. So it's maybe the most, relevant data point that we have, but Kyle Larson absolutely dominated that race. We're having a similar race here at Vegas where it's going to be going from, later evening into the night. We're having the exact same conditions, similar track, low wear. So could we see the exact same thing happen? Absolutely. Byron second most laps led. Keselowski has some laps led, 189. Kyle Busch 185, and then Kurt Busch 158. Like I said, a lot of Kurt Busch's came from that Atlanta race. Looking specifically at low wear tracks this year in 2021, that would be the first Vegas race, the Kansas race, and the Charlotte race. So we're only looking at three races in this data set. Kyle Busch, best average finish at 2.3. Keselowski, second best at 5.3. Chase Elliott 6.7, Larson at 7.0, Byron 7.0, Denny Hamlin 7.7, Austin Dillon at 9.3, and then Chris Buescher at 10.0. Average running position, Kyle Larson 2.4, which is just insane. Got Byron up there at 6.1, Kyle Busch at 6.7, Elliott at 7.1, Denny Hamlin at 7.9, Keselowski at 8.5. Fastest laps, Kyle Larson, 193. We got Byron second best at 99. And then it's back to Kyle Busch with 67. Chase Elliott with 62. Keselowski with 56. And then Blaney at 42 with only 3 laps led. And I point this out a lot. I like to look at this ratio of fastest laps to laps led because typically the leaders get more fastest laps than the guys back in the pack. So when you have a car that gets fastest laps at a low wear tire track, low wear mile and a half track, it points to, hey, this driver could be even better if they somehow got to the lead. So someone like Ryan Blaney could have significantly more fastest laps if he led more. He's only led 3 laps in those 3 races. Same with William Byron when you look at this ratio, going from fastest laps to laps led. Kyle Busch, same thing. You like to see ratios like that where very little, if they don't lead very much and they have a good chunk of fastest laps, you like to see that ratio because it can help you predict, even like this weekend. If Kyle Larson does not dominate this race from start to finish, it can kind of help you predict the other dominators that could come up there and lead. Laps led on low wear mile and a half tracks this year. Kyle Larson, 562. Next best, Brad Keselowski at 105. Absolutely. What can you say about what Kyle Larson's done this year and specifically on mile and a halves? And I feel like we say that every single week, but that's what all the numbers are pointing to. And I know we're probably getting tired of talking about Kyle Larson so much, but that's just how it is. He's so good and everything's going to point to him this week and to win this race. So just warning you. We'll go and look at 2020 low wear tracks just to kind of get a little bit of number or a little bit of idea of how the drivers ran on low wear mile and a half tracks last year. We got 9 races in this data set. Brad Keselowski, number 1 at 6.4. Kevin Harvick, 7.2. Ryan Blaney, 7.7. Kyle Larson at 9.0. He only ran one race. I think it was the Vegas race, if I remember right. Truex at 9.4, Kyle Busch 10.8. When we go by average running position, we got Blaney at 6.2, the best last year on mile and a half tracks, low wear. Martin Truex Jr. at 8.3, Alex Bowman at 8.7, Joey Logano 8.8, Chase Elliott 8.8, Kevin Harvick 9.2, Kyle Larson 9.9. Again, just one race for Kyle Larson, and he was in that Ganassi car. Fastest laps on the low wear mile and a half last year, Ryan Blaney, number 1 at 236. Got Chase Elliott at 226. Martin Truex Jr. at 208. Kevin Harvick 186. Alex Bowman 178. Denny Hamlin 144. So these are a lot closer than what we see this year. This year we're seeing just basically Kyle Larson get a ton of the fastest laps with maybe 1 or 2 others jumping in there and grabbing some. Last year was a lot closer. We saw Blaney consistently get laps, but never have 80 in one race like we've seen with Kyle Larson do. Laps led on the short or on the low wear mile and a half tracks last year. Kevin Harvick led the way at 328. It's basically the same thing as the fastest laps here. Alex Bowman, next best, 269. Nice. Chase Elliott, Martin Truex Jr., 257. Hamlin, 247. Blaney, 225. And then Logano, 219. As we talk about a lot of times with Logano, he just doesn't put up fastest laps, and here's just another example of that. So when you pick him in DFS, you're really relying on getting those, hopefully, laps led, and hopefully he wins a race, and that's where he gets into the winning lineups. We'll go ahead and start the driver breakdown now. I think we've went through everything, and we'll kind of go back and forth. So first up, Kyle Larson. He is $11,100 on DraftKings. He starts first. I'll be going back and forth on my other screen here to get the starting lineup. I don't have it memorized, and they don't have them in here yet. DraftKings doesn't. But Kyle Larson, what can you say? I mean, all the numbers are pointing to Kyle Larson this week. 550 horsepower package, he's been great. Low wear, he's been great. He won here at Vegas the first time. He finished 19th at Kansas after dominating it. He won at Charlotte and dominated it. The guy's just been absolutely insane. You got to think that this team is going to be, or this car might be even faster now that they're in the playoffs. We typically see, guys that are hunting for the championship get faster when we get into the playoffs. So if that's the case, he could very well run away with this thing on Sunday night. My only thing with Kyle Larson is that team seems to sometimes miss the setup early in a race. We've seen it a few times this year where they're just not good for the first half of the race. They are very good at making adjustments after the race starts and as the race goes on. So if they nail the setup out of the gate, that's when we really see Kyle Larson absolutely dominate a race, is when they nail the setup out of the gate. When they don't, that's when we see him not come on till the end and toward the second half of the race. So like Atlanta, you see here, 269 laps led at Atlanta. They nailed the setup at that race. They nailed the setup at Dover. They definitely nailed the setup at Charlotte. They nailed the setup at Nashville. But you look at Bristol Dirt, he had to go to the back in that race. Sonoma on the pole. I'm looking at, when he starts up front and how he does. Sonoma, he's on the pole. He led 57 laps. Pocono is about the one race that they didn't, nail the setup at the beginning. He came on, this was the race, I believe, that he blew the tire he blew the tire on the last lap coming back for the win. So didn't dominate the Pocono race, but was there to win at the end because they make their cars better so much throughout the race. Michigan, he started on the pole. He led the most laps in that race. I don't think he had the best car. You just couldn't pass the leader. Plus, he was playing relatively conservatively. Still finished third. Richmond started first, only led 8 laps. This was the race that he had to start in the back again, though. But yeah, Richmond's not a great track for Kyle Larson. So what I'm getting at here is Kyle Larson is a great DFS pick. He's a great fantasy pick, and there's no reason to go against him. Even starting on the pole, and as risky as that can be in DFS, you have to think he's going to put up, minimum 40 fastest laps and 50 laps led and be top 3 all night. So if you're fading him, you're doing it just from a strategy perspective, maybe in a single entry contest or in a, 3-entry max or something, or even, even in like a big GPP. If you're only putting in a couple lineups, yeah, you might fade Larson, but all the data is pointing to Kyle Larson this week. There's no point to go against it. There's no reason to. And, don't overthink this. I say that a lot, but Kyle Larson's going to have a very good car on Sunday night. He starts on the pole, and he should, even at minimum, get enough Dominator points to make that salary pay off, and at maximum, just absolutely dominate this race, like we've seen him and Martin Truex Jr. do several times over the years. So, yes, slam dunk pick there for Kyle Larson, and everyone else should be saying that too. I'd be surprised if anyone makes a case against Kyle Larson this weekend. Kyle Busch, he starts 10th. He's $10,800 on DraftKings. Awesome pick. I bet him to win this race. He's actually the Jordan Jinx this week. Jordan Jinx isn't doing too bad lately, I'm not going to lie. But yeah, Kyle Busch, I think he's a top 3 car. Definitely top 5. You look at the races this year in the 550 horsepower package. Kyle Busch has been there. He's so much better in this package, guys. That's what's important. Average finish of 3.8 in this package is, if Larson's numbers didn't pop so much, we'd be talking about Kyle Busch being the definite favorite to win this race. So I think Kyle Busch gets up there. I think I think he's going to be easily top 3. I'd be surprised if he wasn't top 3 on speed. Finished 3rd earlier this year. He hasn't won here at Vegas. It's his home track. He hasn't won since 2009. He hasn't really dominated here very much. He did lead 52 laps here in 2014, 38 laps in 2016. Not getting the Dominator points, but with him starting 10th, he doesn't have to get as many Dominator points for that salary to pay off. So I think Kyle Busch is a great play. I think he's going to be a definite top 5 pick. My algorithm has him 4th, and he's right there with Hamlin, Blaney, and himself. So, and only 2 or 3 away from in the power index from Larson. So, could definitely see Kyle Busch winning this race like he did at Kansas, a while back when he won when Larson didn't get that good restart. Looking at fastest laps, Kyle Busch 22 at Kansas, 36 at Charlotte. Definitely, like I said, Charlotte's the most recent low wear 1.5 mile track. So when you go back to that race, the best car was obviously Kyle Larson by a long shot. Chase Elliott and William Byron are both very, very strong in that race, but Kyle Busch was right there breaking up that Hendrick, dominance there. So Kyle Busch definitely a great play. It's going to be hard to fit him and Kyle Busch into a lineup, I think. At least maybe not difficult, but it's going to make you sacrifice in other places that I'm not sure Kyle Busch gets optimal. But as far as a safe option, Kyle Busch is a safe option. Should get a top 3, top 5 finish and get some fastest laps along the way, if not some laps led. So, yeah. Denny Hamlin, he's $10,500 on DraftKings. He starts 6th. I'd consider Hamlin an outside chance of a Dominator. That car's been so fast since we started these playoffs. He finished 4th at Vegas. He finished 4th in the first Atlanta race. Again, that's not super comparable. He finished 7th at Charlotte, 12th at Kansas. Fastest laps. He had 24 at Kansas, which is good. He did lead, 47 laps here at Vegas last time we were here, 121 in the playoff race last year. I'd consider Hamlin an outside Dominator. I don't think he's going to be super high owned because I think a lot of people are going to gravitate here toward Larson, and then they're going to go with the place differential plays of Kyle Busch or Chase Elliott. So I think Hamlin's a definite tournament play with as strong as they've been this year. But not a ton of fastest laps in this 550 horsepower package. Low wear tracks this year. Hamlin only 39. So I only see Hamlin getting there and being worth the play if he gets out and leads a ton of laps on Sunday night and wins the race. Or it doesn't really have to lead a ton of laps, but lead significant amount of laps and win the race. That's where I see it working out. If you're pairing Larson and Hamlin, then you're just hoping that they're the 2 Dominators and that they finish 1-2. But again, you're probably going to go it's safer to go place differential plays with Chase Elliott or Kyle Busch on Sunday night. Chase Elliott, he starts 10th or 11th. He starts 11th. $10,200. Definitely a very good play. Chase Elliott is strong on this track type. He's had some misleading results in the 550 package this year. But like I said, Chase Elliott finished 2nd at Charlotte. He finished 5th at Kansas. And let's pull up Chase Elliott here. He has quite a few actually bad finishes here recently. 13th, 22nd, and 26th. But look at this. Led 73 laps, led 70 laps, led 22 laps earlier this year. This was the race that he, they had that early damage, and then they ruined the car when they fixed it. So, Chase Elliott is a definite top 5 play this week. I think he can challenge for the win, and starting 11th, you gotta love the place differential. So yes, Chase Elliott is definitely a very good play in DraftKings this weekend. Joey Logano, he starts ninth. He's $9,900. The issue with Logano is he just doesn't get fastest laps, and when you're paying $9,900, you need those fastest laps. We've seen Penske pull off surprise wins here before. We've seen, Logano did it last year in the February race. He did it in the March race of 2019. He's good at Las Vegas. There's no denying that. And he can get to the front. I mean, he's led 5 or more, or he's led every single race here the last 11, at least one lap. And quite a few he's led, 40 or more. He's led 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 of the last 11 races. He's led 40 or more laps. But going back to the 550 package this year, Joey Logano, one, isn't running or finishing extremely well. He's a lot better in the 750 package this year. Only 37 laps led over 9 races and only 42 fastest laps. Is there upside for Logano? Yes, there's always upside for Joey Logano and Team Penske at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. Am I going to pay $9,900 on DraftKings for him? No. To me, you need exposure if you're putting a ton of lineups in, but even if I'm putting 20 lineups into a 20 entry max, I'm probably not landing on Logano this weekend, to be honest with you. Even starting ninth, I don't see it working out. I don't see him getting the fastest laps to make even a top 5 finish get there, because I think of where everyone's expected to finish. Even if Logano gets top 5, he's not going to get the fastest laps for that salary to pay off. I just don't see it happening. Martin Truex Jr., he starts 4th. He's $9,700. You have to like how this race is going to be at night. Martin Truex Jr. is better at night. He always has been. So when we look at the low wear tracks this year, Truex isn't that great. Average finish of 13.7, average running position 10.8, 10 fastest laps, 6 laps led. I'd consider him an alternate dominator play. Obviously Truex isn't great in the 550 package this year, but not bad. Average finish 10.6, average running position 10.3, 77 fastest laps and 62 laps led. Truex is just one of those. Is he going to turn it on? We've seen Kyle Busch be so fast on these intermediate tracks this year. We've seen Denny Hamlin be so fast on these intermediate tracks this year. There's no reason to think that Truex can't get up there and do the same thing. Plus, this team has a tendency to turn it on in the playoffs. So, I think Truex can lead 40 plus laps on Saturday night. I'm not saying he will. I'm saying he could. And I think at $9,700, starting 4th and finishing top 3, he could get there in the optimal. I haven't done ownership projections yet on Truex or on anyone, but I don't mind having some Truex. I'm not going to go crazy. I don't love him as of now, though. I'm recording this on Wednesday night. That could change. I haven't written my article yet. I just got done with my projections. I haven't done ownerships yet, but I think Truex is a decent tournament play, but I think there are some better options out there. Kurt Busch, he starts 20th, and he's $9,500. I think Kurt Busch is going to be a very popular play in DraftKings this week at a decently low salary of $9,500. That's, I think you can get a good pivot to Truex there, by the way, now that like I said, I don't have the starting lineup. DraftKings hasn't put it in yet, so I don't have it easily accessible. But I do like looking at that in the driver pool of where people might go. If Kurt Busch is starting 20th and he's $9,500, I don't mind. Common instinct among NASCAR DFS players is to go for place differential. I kind of use that sometimes to make my pivot plays on a weekly basis. But anyway, Kurt Busch, he starts 20th. He's $9,500. He's pretty good here at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. He's had some very good races. He won here last year, this playoff race last year. 5th here in 2019. Obviously surrounded with a bunch of not good finishes. Let's pull up his stats for this year in the 550 package. Average finish is 16.7, average running position of 12.1. Low wear tracks this year. Kurt Busch, average finish 24th, average running position is 17.5. I think he had some issues in a few of those races, huh? But, 38th at Charlotte, that was that engine issue. He finished 19th in the first Vegas race, 15th at Kansas. I think that car is a lot better now. You look at recent 550 horsepower races, 6th at Pocono. He won at Atlanta too. He finished fourth at Michigan. Again, those tracks aren't super comparable, but definitely something to note or take note of just in this 550 package. But I think Kurt Busch is about, I don't see him finishing much better than 10th, to be honest with you. Like that would surprise me quite a bit. My projections have him average finish of 12.3, which the algorithm has him 14th. So, yeah, I don't know. I'm not loving Kurt Busch. Like I said, I'm recording this on Wednesday. I think he's a safe option for sure. He's going to move up. And those Ganassi cars have been strong recently. I just don't. I'd rather pivot somewhere else, I believe, if it was me. But Kevin Harvick, 9,300. He starts 5th. And that's about, I think I could see him running 5th. So, obviously, he was very good at the low wears last year. This year, Harvick's average finish is 10.7. His average running position is 10.2. I think he'll be about an 8th place car, 5th to 8th place car on Sunday night. Looking over at the 550 horsepower numbers this year, he has the 5th best finish and the 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11th best average running position. The thing with Harvick this year, finished 2nd at Kansas. That was that one with the wacky late restart. He was 10th at Charlotte, and yes, that team's getting a little better, but they're still not running the fastest laps. So starting 5th and being 9,300, you need those fastest laps. I'd rather go Truex, I'd rather go Blaney, I'd rather go Kurt Busch, and I'd definitely rather go Byron. So I'm not going to have a ton of Kevin Harvick on Sunday night, but I definitely could see him being over-owned after nearly winning last week. But remember, we're not at Bristol anymore. We're at Vegas, and Kevin Harvick's going to be, on a very good night, he's a top 5 car. But most likely he is going to be about an 8th to 10th place car. Ryan Blaney, $9,100 on DraftKings. He starts 2nd. It's all going to come down to if he leads, how much, and how many fastest laps he gets. I think Ryan Blaney can definitely win this race. I think Ryan Blaney can finish top 5. He won at Atlanta this year. He won at Michigan. Finished 5th at Atlanta 2. He finished 5th at Pocono. He finished 6th at Pocono 2. Again, I'm looking at the 550 horsepower results this year. 21st at Kansas. 5th in the first Vegas race. I think he's definitely like a solid top 5 play this week, or finisher this week. Again, it's just going to come down to the Dominator points. So looking at low wear tracks this year, the 3 races, Ryan Blaney, 42 fastest laps, 3 laps led. That's an average of about, 14 fastest laps per race. Exactly 14, right? 42 divided by 3. So yeah, 13 fastest laps. I don't know if that gets him there starting 2nd from 9,100, but I definitely think Ryan Blaney is a good tournament option. I don't mind being overweight on Blaney this week at all. I bet him already at 17-1 to win. So I think there's definite upside there with Ryan Blaney. Plus Penske, like I said, just has a weird knack for this racetrack. William Byron, he's $8,900 and he starts 3rd. Definitely like William Byron this week. My projections love him. I'd honestly play him in cash at $8,900. I don't know what they're doing putting Ryan Blaney or putting William Byron at $8,900. So looking at the 550 package this year, he finished 1st at Homestead, 8th at Vegas, 8th at Atlanta, 9th at Kansas, 4th at Charlotte, 3rd at Pocono, 12th at Pocono 2, 20th at Atlanta 2, which, remember, Hendrick was just experimenting in that race. And then he finished 2nd, should have won at Michigan. William Byron's really solid all around. And even though he's starting 3rd, I still think he's going to have a great race with huge upside. I think his even just an average race out of him, I think is going to be a good score for an $8,900 driver. So looking at low wear tracks this year, Byron, average finish of 7.0, average running position is 6.1, 99 fastest laps. We'll go back and look at where he got those at. 31 in the first Vegas race, 17 at Kansas, and 51 at Charlotte. I think William Byron's an awesome pick this week, $8,900. And like I said, I might write him up as a cash play, even starting third. My cash plays might be Larson and Byron, even though they're starting first and third this week. So if Byron's not one of my cash plays, he'll more than likely then be a tournament play. So make sure you check out the article whenever I get that up, probably on Friday. That's typically when I like to release it. So, yes, love William Byron this week. Brad Keselowski, he starts 8th. He popped on a lot of those statistics that I said earlier. So let's take a look at, again, my issue with Penske and Keselowski in particular is that they don't get a ton of fastest laps. Now, with that being said, Keselowski has 56 at low-wear tracks this year, which is the 5th most in the series. He had 30 in the first Vegas race. He had 18 at Kansas. And then he had 8 at Charlotte. Good average finish of 5.3, which is 2nd best. Average running position of 8.5, which is 6th best. You have to like the price of Keselowski at $8,700. You have to like the kind of upside he has with starting 8th and having a few place differential potential, a little bit of place differential potential. Plus, look at his record at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. 2nd, 7th, 3rd, 2nd, 1st, 6th, 5th, 1st, 7th, 1st, 3rd. Keselowski is really good at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So I think DraftKings has him underpriced. I think he's a solid play for a $8,700 driver, even though he starts 8th. I do think Byron is a better play, but Keselowski is a safer play. So, I can't argue against Keselowski, but I will say strategy-wise, I would consider being off of him in tournaments and going underweight. Probably significantly, just because of how Penske has been quite disappointing, especially as the year has gone on. But yeah, I do think Keselowski is a little bit better in this package, though. So Christopher Bell, he starts 12th, and he's $8,500. Christopher Bell is one of those drivers that you kind of just don't know what you're going to get from him. So let's take a look at last year in the Levine car, he did finish 3rd at Texas. He finished 10th at Kansas. You have to think that's like his upside, maybe like a 6th place finish. We look at this year, Christopher Bell, 7th in the first Vegas race. He was 28th at Kansas, probably had an issue. 24th at Charlotte, probably had an issue. This is the story of Christopher Bell. You look at these results. 29th. Oh, he had a 3rd. 20th, 32nd, 13th, 36th, 7th. Oh, he had a 2nd. 8th. Oh, he had another 2nd. 32nd, 17th, 9th, 11th. He's just all over the map, so it's really hard to get a gauge on Christopher Bell and where he's going to end up. But $8,500 starting 12th, a playoff driver in Joe Gibbs Racing Equipment. You have to have exposure with Bell. There's just this price range right here. Under $9,000 is so solid. A lot of solid drivers in this range here. So definitely a lot of decisions to be made here. If I had to rank them, I'd go probably Byron. Byron, Bowman, Kez, Bell. But they're all super close. Alex Bowman, he starts 7th. He's $8,300. Bowman is good on steep tracks. Always has been. In the 550 package this year, average finish of 10th, average running position of 10th, 73 fastest laps. Low wear tracks this year, Bowman, average finish of 16.7, 12.1 average running position. We'll go and look here. He did have 14 fastest laps in this first Vegas race. Remember, he had to pit late with a tire issue, so that's why he finished 27th. But Fifth at Charlotte, and like I said, you kind of have to go back to that. He's finished fifth at Charlotte this year, 18th at Kansas, 27th at Vegas. It's just what Alex, is he going to run into issues? That's the only thing with Alex Bowman, and he's still on my dead to me list. But I can still admit the upside here with Bowman. You look at these results, 5th, 6th in the last 2 September races here. Solid in the stages. He just sometimes doesn't get the finishes and sometimes fades. So I do think Alex Bowman is a pretty good play this week. $8,300 starting 7th. He's a Hendrick car starting 7th, $8,300. If he goes up and he leads 30 laps and he gets 15 fastest laps and finishes 3rd, he's probably going to be in the optimal. So definitely a strong play with Alex Bowman. Matt DiBenedetto, he starts 14th. He's $8,200. You're really hoping that he sneaks in a top 5 finish for him to get in the optimal this week. $8,200. I don't know what they were doing pricing him at $8,200. He did finish 2nd in both races here last year. That's the upside that you see with DiBenedetto, but is that super common? Absolutely not. I will say that DiBenedetto is very good at restarting, and that helps in this package and at intermediate tracks a lot. So I understand. I think you need some DiBenedetto exposure in like huge tournaments where you're putting in a ton of lineups. But, if I'm putting in 20 lineups in a 20 entry max, maybe 2 of them have DiBenedetto on them. I don't like him that much. So, and single entry, it's not one of those drivers that in a single entry contest, I'm like, okay, I need to really think about DiBenedetto. If that's what beats me in a single entry contest, then so be it. $8,200 starting 14th. I'm not seeing the upside there simply because he really does not get any fastest laps ever. 9 races in this package. He has 21 fastest laps. And low wear tracks this year, DiBenedetto, he has 4 over 3 races. So you're really hoping for a very, very, very good finish out of DiBenedetto. And we've seen it before. It's just not incredibly likely. So I see the upside. I don't think it's a great DFS play. I'd rather go to Austin Dillon, who starts 15th. He's $8,100. Austin Dillon's actually been really, really good in this package this year, in this 550 package. Average running position, 12.9, which is 12th best in the series. You go back and you look specifically at the intermediates. He finished 12th at Homestead. Again, that's high wear. He finished 12th here at Vegas. He finished 6th at Atlanta. Again, high wear. Finished 10th at Kansas. He finished 6th at Charlotte. There's speed there. Remember, the most recent 550 package race was Michigan, and he had a legitimate fast enough car to win that race. So definitely think that Austin Dillon is in play this week at $8,100. There's upside there, place differential wise, for him starting 15th. Obviously, DiBenedetto starts 14th, and I just made the case against DiBenedetto. But what you get with Austin Dillon is you get a little bit of fastest laps. He's averaging how many per race? On 25 fastest laps over the 3 races. He's averaging about 7 on low wear tracks this year. In the 550 package, 47 over 9 races. That's about 5 per race. So a little bit over 5 per race. So I think you have a little bit of more dominator upside with Austin Dillon than you do DiBenedetto. Plus, he starts 1 position further back. Plus, I think the Chevys are faster than the Fords. So more upside finishing wise there. Do I love either of them? No, but I'm just comparing the two because they're right there. Side by side price wise. So Ross Chastain, he starts 18th. He's $7,900. A lot of the stats really don't point to anything good about Ross Chastain this weekend. Average running position at 22.2 in the 550 package. Average finish of 24.4. Low wear tracks this year. Ross Chastain, average running position 25.4. Average finish of 24.7. I will note though that a lot of those races, especially the the low wear mile and a halves were earlier in the season when this team wasn't running as well. Plus, you go back to Charlotte, which was the most recent mile and a half track that we visited, and he finished 37th with that engine issue. So he did finish 14th at Kansas, and I think he's had a lot of bad luck at overall in this package this year, which is bringing his numbers down. But definitely there's upside there with Ross Chastain starting 18th with how he's running. 14th at Bristol last week. He's 7th and 3rd in the other two playoff races so far. So worth $7,900. I don't particularly love the price tag, but I can see it working out. Like I said, Kurt Busch won this race, and that was a Ganassi car. He won this race last year. So, definitely I think Chastain deserves some exposure, but not particularly in love with Chastain this week, even though he is starting 18th. Tyler Reddick, he starts 13th. He's $7,800. That's probably about where he's going to finish, so I don't love it. 550 package this year. Reddick, average finish of 13.4, average running position of 14.4. Low wear tracks this year. Reddick, 12.7 average finish, 12.1 average running position. We'll go back and look race by race here really quick. And Reddick, he did finish 7th at Kansas. He finished 9th at Charlotte. That's the kind of upside that you need. But does he get there starting 13th? An 8th place finish I don't think is going to get you there at $7,800. So particularly I'm not seeing enough upside out of Reddick to go heavy on him. I think he's a decent option, but not great at $7,800. I don't like the price tag at all. Daniel Suarez, he's $7,600. He starts 26th. Let's take a look at 26th in the first Vegas race. He finished 11th at Kansas. He finished 15th at Charlotte. Does he get there with a 15th with 11 place differential points? Maybe. It's right there on the fringe. It depends how your build goes. If you try to get two of these $10,000+ drivers, it's going to be really hard to fit Suarez into a lineup. But at least in my opinion. But if you don't, and you go, if you hit Larson and then you hit these guys, you hit Larson, you hit Byron, you hit Bowman, it makes it a lot easier to fit Suarez in there. So I definitely think Suarez is a very safe option. I think he can finish top 15. And starting back in 26th, there's definitely upside there for Suarez to get there. I never really liked this $7,000 range. So if you haven't noticed already, I usually just shy away from these drivers and don't love them in particular. But Ryan Newman, he is $7,500. What is their deal with pricing Newman this year? It's so over the map. He starts 29th, so that's why they priced him up. He finished 18th at Vegas. He finished 16th at Kansas, 27th at Charlotte. That team's fallen off as the season went on in this package. Looking at the 550 this year, all 9 races, Newman is average finish of 21.3, average running position of 20.2. I get the upside with the place differential. I just don't see Newman getting there. Taking a look at his Vegas record in particular, 18th, 15th, 10th, 24th. Like, you're just hoping for that, like a 10th place finish like that. That's what you need for this salary to work out. Do you think Newman's going to get there, though? Do you think this year's Ryan Newman's going to get there? I don't. So, not a big fan of Newman this week in DraftKings. Chris Buescher, he starts 25th, and he is $7,300 in DraftKings. I really like Chris Buescher this week. He's very solid in this package. 0 finishes worse than 20th in the 550 package this year. When we pull up the overall numbers, average finish, Chris Buescher 14.0, average running position 15.3. He's really good in this package this year, guys. Low wear track specifically, Chris Buescher, 3 races, average finish at 10.0, average running position at 16.1. I'd pencil him in for about a 15th place finish. So you're getting a guy starting 25th. probably getting about 10 place differential points, right on the fringe with that $7,300 price tag. Looking at the races this year, Buescher, he finished 14th in the first Vegas race. He finished 8th at Kansas, and he finished 8th at Charlotte. So I like Chris Buescher this week a lot. I know, I went back and forth with a guy on Twitter, talking about Buescher at Bristol. He mentioned how disappointing Bristol was with Buescher. Chris Buescher's not very good at Bristol, so try to just get that out of your memory. You look at what this car's been doing recently, 9th, 2nd, 15th, 12th, 17th. That's about what you can expect this weekend, 16th, 18th. So yeah, going from 25th into the mid-teens with maybe even top 10 upside. I really like Chris Buescher this week in DFS. Cole Custer, he starts 28th. Cole Custer starts 28th. He is $7,100. I think he's going to be I think he's going to get more love than he probably should, but you have to understand the upside there. All it takes is Cole Custer staying on the lead lap and then having a good restart at the end, and that's how he gets into the optimal. So he did finish 18th at Atlanta this year, which is his best finish nope, that's not his best finish. He finished 18th and 17th in the 2 Atlanta races, which are his best finishes in this package. Other than that, Custer was 25th at Vegas. He was 24th at Kansas and 21st at Charlotte. So, hey, at least he's getting better. But do I think Cole Custer has, top 15 upside? No. Do I think he's going to be higher owned than he should be? Yes. And does that make me want to go underweight on him in tournaments? Yes, it does. So Custer did finish 19th and 16th here last year, but I feel like he's regressed from last year, and the numbers all show that as well. Cole Custer is not good this year at all. So, I think you need some Custer exposure, but if I'm making a stand in tournaments and even in like single entry, I'm going to go and kind of stay away from Cole Custer this week, despite the place differential upside. And that's just where I'm at with that. Eric Almirola, he starts 17th, and he is $7,000. Like I said, I don't really love this price range, but Almirola in this package this year, 16th at Pocono, 16th at Pocono 2, 17th at Michigan. Those are his best finishes. He's not been very good, just overall. I think he finishes like a good day. He finishes 15th, so I don't think that gets you there with $7,000 in DraftKings. So wouldn't have much Almirola, or I won't have much Almirola. Ricky Stenhouse Jr., he starts 22nd, and he is $6,800. I like Stenhouse this week. Looking at the 550 package this year, Stenhouse average finish 20.4, average running position is 17.5. Seems to be the case with Stenhouse, where he runs better than he actually finishes a lot of the time. But Stenhouse was 11th at Vegas. He was had issues at Kansas and finished 34th. Was 12th at Charlotte. So here are the 550 horsepower finishes for Ricky Stenhouse Jr. this year. He's very hit or miss. 13th at Homestead, 11th at Vegas, 12th at Atlanta, 34th at Kansas, 12th at Charlotte, 15th at Pocono, 38th at Pocono 2, 37th at Atlanta 2, 12th at Michigan. So he's about like a 10th to 15th place car most of the time, unless he has issues. So starting 22nd with that kind of upside, I think Stenhouse is a pretty good play this weekend. Not to mention he's very good at Las Vegas Motor Speedway. So 11th earlier this year, 3rd last year, 6th in 2019, 14th, 12th. You'll notice, though, he has like this little back and forth going. Good finish, bad finish, good finish, bad finish, good finish, bad finish, good finish, bad finish, good finish. That means he might be due for a bad finish, but that's not something you can predict. It might just be, like you look at these last 3 September races here, and Stenhouse has been bad in all of them. Do I think he's bad at night races? No. There's no data to point toward him particularly having a reason of being so bad in this fall race. But definitely something to keep an eye on. I still like Stenhouse this week in DFS at $6,800. I like the upside there. Bubba Wallace, he's $6,700, and he starts 21st. So Bubba Wallace is, there's always the upside with Bubba. He did finish 14th at Charlotte. I'll give him that. Here at Vegas, Bubba finished 6th in 2020. Everything else has been outside of the top 20. You have to like that Charlotte number of finishing 14th. Did finish 14th at Atlanta too. I think if you're playing Bubba, I'd rather go Stenhouse, but if you're playing Bubba Wallace, it's definitely a tournament play. So I'm kind of on the fence. I can see the upside. I think Bubba can get to about, top 15, but that's about it. Eric Jones, he is $6,500 on DraftKings, and he starts 16th. I think he starts too far forward. He has had, he finished 10th in the first Vegas race, which was out of nowhere. And then he did finish 16th at Charlotte. So there's some tournament potential there at $6,500 and taking the risk with Eric Jones. But he's not one of those that I'm jumping at or chomping at the bit to be overweight on. So, yeah. Ryan Preece, he's $6,300 on DraftKings, and he starts 24th. It's probably about where he's going to finish. He did finish 15th here at Vegas the last time we were here. Let's look at his specific track record to make sure I'm not really missing anything when it comes to Preece. 19th last year in the fall race. It just depends how you build your lineup. If you can fit Preece in there, it's not an awful play. I don't think it's a slam dunk play by any means, but still starting 24th. If he finishes 18th at $6,300, that's a solid day. So. Corey LaJoie, he starts 27th. He's probably going to be pretty chalky like he always is, $6,200. Looking at the low wear tracks this year, LaJoie, average finish of 27th, average running position of 24th, 550 package. Corey LaJoie, average finish of 28.6, average running position of 25.8. Let's go through his best finishes this year in this package. He was 19th at Charlotte and 22nd in the second Atlanta race. So the numbers are pointing toward LaJoie not being a great cash play option. So I'd rather go underweight on LaJoie, but still having some exposure. I'm not going super underweight on LaJoie this week if he ends up being a chalk play, which I don't think he's going to be super chalky at $6,200, but he's still going to be somewhat chalky. So I like being underweight on LaJoie, even though he is my boy. Chase Briscoe, he starts 19th, and he is $6,000. You kind of have to like Chase Briscoe this week. So he gets better the second time he runs at tracks. And he was 21st here at Vegas earlier this year. He was 20th at Kansas. Charlotte, he was 23rd. I really like how that team's running recently, though. 13th at Bristol, 16th at Richmond, 19th at Darlington, 11th at Michigan, 26th at the Brickyard race or Indy race, 9th at the Glen, 15th at Quaker State 400. What was that? Was that Atlanta? Yeah, that was the second Atlanta race. I think Briscoe is a pretty good tournament option this week. Starting 19th, if he can stay on the lead lap and get to 13th by the end, he's gonna get there at $6,000. So definitely think Briscoe is in play this week, and he might actually end up being one of the guys that I write up. So Michael McDowell, he starts 23rd, and he is $5,900 on DraftKings. So Michael McDowell is actually pretty good in this 550 package. we've gotten away from Michael McDowell a lot recently, but in this package this year, average finish of 17.6, average running position of 19.3. He finished 17th at Vegas. He finished 13th at Kansas. He finished 20th at Charlotte. Those are the 3 low-wear mile-and-a-half tracks this year. Here at Vegas, Michael McDowell track record. 17th earlier this year, 21st last year. I don't hate playing McDowell this week. I really don't. I think between him and Briscoe, I really like those two as tournament options. And obviously McDowell provides a little bit more place differential. He starts 4 spots further back. I think Briscoe has better finishing potential, but McDowell isn't an awful option this week at $5,900. And that, like, these two, Briscoe and McDowell, are like the ones that I think you really need to make a case for in a single entry contest, because their ownership should be even lower than what they are in the big tournaments. So Anthony Alfredo, he starts 32nd and he's $5,700. He's chalk in my eyes. If McDowell runs well in this package, Alfredo should be decent in this package as well. So looking at his numbers, average finish of 27th, average running position of 26.2. That's good for Alfredo. He finished 24th at Vegas. He finished 23rd at Kansas and 25th at Charlotte. Starting 32nd, that's all you need out of a $5,700 driver. So, yes, I definitely think Alfredo's going to be chalk. I think he's going to finish about, 26th. He's going to probably get there for a cash lineup, but in tournaments, I'd rather go underweight on Alfredo and go with a McDowell, go with a Briscoe, go with a Priest, and try to differentiate yourself there. And also, it's Alfredo. He could always have an issue in the race. Justin Haley on down. I don't see the point in going that far this week. Last week was a punt option week. This week is not. So I don't see any reason to go down there. I think you can make a great lineup without punting. So I'm not seeing the point. Don't expect many wrecks on Sunday night. So, yeah, not punting this week. Not part of my plan. As far as the optimal lineup, according to my projections, it's looking like this. Larson, Elliott, Byron, Buescher, Stenhouse, and Alfredo. And, yeah, that doesn't surprise me at all. I don't hate the build. Looks pretty decent to me. I would consider, honestly, I wouldn't mind taking Stenhouse off, going Briscoe, and then getting Kyle Busch, and that gives you enough to come up here and grab Michael McDowell. So I don't mind my projected optimal lineup. I kind of like this one better. Kyle Larson, Kyle Busch, William Byron, Chris Buescher, Chase Briscoe, Michael McDowell. But like I said, like you can get a lot of guys in this range down here, so don't be afraid to do that. Like I said, I really like Byron this week. You can throw Blaney on there, but hell, you throw Bowman on there, you get Larson, Bowman, Byron. I think this is where a lot of people are going to end up in their builds as well, is going this route without needing to go super deep. But hell, I mean, you could go Larson, Byron, Bowman, Truex, Larson, Bowman, Byron, Kurt Busch. Like, there's a lot of options here for you when building lineups this week. Even there's a ton of options. Hell, you could even go Keselowski. Come down here, grab Alfredo with that cash, and then Elliott. I mean, you could go Larson, Bowman, Kez, Elliott, Briscoe, Alfredo. So definitely good options. I think this is going to be a fun week again to build lineups. And yeah, that's all I got this week. Hopefully you enjoyed this breakdown. Hopefully it helped you a little bit. We have what? This is the 7. We have 7 races left, including Las Vegas this week. So season's winding down. Hope you're having fun. Hope you're winning some money. And good luck in Vegas this weekend before we have Talladega next week. So thanks for watching, and good luck, and see you.